Hello everyone, my name is Jesse. This is the auditorium where I react to video game music. As a musician myself, today it's been a while. Final Fantasy X or FFX, Final Fantasy X, Calm Before the Storm, requested by Patrick over on Patreon. FFX is a very interesting entity in my life. There's a thousand and thousands of people that want me to play it. And I don't know if that's ever gonna happen. I'm just being honest. It's one of those things that I don't have time for, and who knows? It just doesn't really appeal to me. Anyways, I've not heard much of music from it. I've heard Zarnikin. I've heard the intro song, which I can't remember right now what it's called, but I remember that was like super heavy. It's got a good soundtrack though so far. I will give it that. Seymour, the battle with Seymour. Every song I've heard actually has been pretty damn good. Oh, it was called Otherworld, now that I think about it. So this game seems to be kind of like highly regarded, and it's Nobuo Matsu's like final thing that he was like a part of, or officially, I don't know. But it says here, music by Junya Nakano, Masayoshi Hamzu, and of course Nobuo, and I think this is a Nobuo song. Anyways, a lot of talk. This is Calm Before the Storm, interesting title, from FFX. It's been a while since I've done FFX. Tizanarkin was the last time. That was 5 months ago. All right, let's go. Conflicting energies. It sounds happy and kind of angst at the same time. I do love a good bass line. Prominent bass line. It's really up front. What is it? Whoa. What a strange noise. So I don't know if you guys have known this, but as well as the reaction videos that I do, I've done a handful. I've done 3 now of kind of like top 20 of a soundtrack from a game that I've played, and I've done them for I've done them for FF7, 8, and 9. If you want to see those, go check them out. But, so as I was listening to this, I was trying to like actually envision talking about it in those, where I would talk about it like in depth. Now that I have a little bit of experience with Nobuo and FF games, I was trying to imagine with everything that I have, that to me that sounded somewhere along the lines of like a town theme or a specific dialogue theme, but I'm leaning more towards town theme. Doesn't sound like a battle, but it could be. Could be. But by the title of it, Calm Before the Storm, obviously this preceding something big. But also could just be like a vague title as well. So my gut instinct says town theme, but you let me know. So this one was kind of, I don't say interesting. I've said that a lot today. It's intriguing. It kind of reminds me a little bit of, speaking of Nobuo, the Kingdom of Burmecia from FF9. I just played that game, so it's kind of still in my head. But kind of the same thing, where it's, or Clara, it kind of has this lingering, constant feeling. The song does not really sprout. It's just playing arpeggios over and over. An arpeggio is a chord played individually. So every time you hear a change of notes, it's just literally a chord being moved around, but so it's a lot of individual notes over and over, and it just kept repeating that with little things going on in the background. So there was no percussion. Pretty sure there was no percussion. And was I wrong about that? I kind of want to hear it again, but I want to say there was no percussion, at least that I remember. And either way, it's just kind of had this effect of more of a... It was kind of in the border of like an ambient song and a regular song, if that makes any sense. Another example from FF9, because again, I just played it. If you're familiar with the Aoife tree theme, it sounds all chaotic and crazy, but that, as great of a song it is, it's more of a like background ambience theme as opposed to like a song per se. That's kind of what I was leaning towards here, but it was also more of a song. I would say it's like 60-40, I guess. And the feeling it gave me was kind of unique. So out of all the games I've played, which has now been a handful, right? Crisis Core doesn't count because it's not him, but Final Fantasy wise, I played Crisis Core, 7 Remake, 7, 8, and 9. That's 5 games under my belt. And this one stood out in a manner of moods conflicting. Like let's take another FF game. Let's take FF8, like Fisherman's Horizon or something. That is obviously a very mellow, nice town theme, and it's kind of relaxing, and you don't really feel too much peril. And then, you know what I mean? So it's got like, what I'm trying to say is this song has conflicting energies. I do not know if it was nice or bad or sad or anxious or anything. It just kind of felt null. Not in a bad way. I'm just like, I didn't know which way it could go. It can kind of, I guess it depends, obviously, but like if I had different images, it would be very hard to pinpoint which one. Like if I had a slideshow, someone showed me like, here's a forest scene, here's a waterfall, here's destruction, here's heaven or something, you know what I mean? In a way, I can feel like they can go into all those places. So it was really like racking my brain. If it didn't look like I was enjoying it or something, it was because I was trying to think. And usually I don't think that hard. I just listen to the music and just vibe with it. But in this case, since I have experience with these games, by default, my reaction was like, what's going on here? Like, what is, I'm trying to see if my experience, air quotes, would help me here. But no, not at all. A lot of rambling, but I have no idea where that could play. And then the only other thing I have was Besides, it was a beautiful song. I should mention that. None of the song is bad at all. I was just really curious what's happening. But what really made me kind of question stuff is that ending part of it, where it had this kind of just kind of uncomfortable, like, it almost sounded like static. I think it was a synth, but just like distorted or something. I don't really know. But it sounded clearly like, obviously it was there. It was meant to stand out. And that added even more to the whole, what mood am I getting here? You know, on one end, I can relax with it and feel nice and calm. But then I get to that ending part and I don't feel that anymore. It feels like, who knows? Maybe the storm that we're talking about. The calm is everything before that, and then the storm is actually that. Who knows? Either way, it has a very storytelling sound to it. Borders, ambience, and music. Kind of unique. And what I find interesting about Nobuo Uematsu and Final Fantasy, because remember, I had zero experience with Final Fantasy at all up until this channel, is that they keep surprising me with what comes out of it. Like Square, Nobuo, all that, whatever you want to, like, just the whole like product of Final Fantasy has a very just variable, like, it appeals to, like, there's a reason why it probably sells millions, because it just appeals to so many people. It has something kind of for everyone, and that goes with music, gameplay, types of games. All the games are different, you know. It's just, I don't know. I feel like it's just going to be one of those winning, like, IPs for the rest of time. Like, if you put that title behind it, it's going to do well just because of the reputation that it has. That's what I'm getting from it. As someone who came in very late to the series, where most of you listening to this have probably grown up with the series. You know, that's two whole spectrums. You grow up, you have biases, your kids, you played this after school, whatever. I'm listening to this as a grown adult with no context. So, and yet I still like it. Final Fantasy is a very interesting thing that'll always happen on this channel. Every time that it comes up, I don't mention it, but I always feel that. Like, I feel like this is something I missed out on, but so many people around the world love it and grew up with it. I get it, but at the same time, you know, I'm kind of envious that I didn't share those, like, wholesome child memories like you guys do. Anyways, Calm Before the Storm from Final Fantasy X. Pretty cool. Please let me know, because I am very, very inquisitive of what that was and where that plays. For our sake, if you made it this far into the video, try not to spoil too much, because you never know. I'm not saying I will play this. I'm not saying I won't play this. You just never know. I'm not opposed to anything, but as of right now, there are no plans for me to play this game, and I hope the comment section isn't me, just people just trying to convince me to play it. I have to want to play something to play it. You wouldn't play something if you want to play it, right? So same with me. But for everyone's sake, try not to, like, spoil too much. Just in general, for everyone in the comments, you know, maybe they haven't played it. Anyways, I am talking a lot. Thank you, Patrick, for that. And very cool. I will say this, though. FFX has a really good soundtrack. Everything I've heard, which is about 4 songs now, 4 or 5 songs, really good and very diverse. Otherworld is completely different from Xanarkin. It's completely different from Fight with Seymour, and it's completely different from this. So that's a good thing. I like variety a lot. So, thank you to my Patreon supporters that you see here. Thanks to my Platinum members on Patreon that get priority in my request list. That is Kevin, Patrick, Terry, Vanadel, Callanan, Gardeline, Mushimari, Justin, Knox, and Triage 101. Until next time, dudes and dudettes. My name is Jesse. I'll see you in the next video. Have a nice day.